Happy birthday, Frank Kappa! This is the Kathryn Dunn Show. With us today, we have Matt Kapazzi, my mom, and our musical guest, Zoe Mina. As always, I'm here, and so is Bull, and you might just see some of my animals. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's start with my mom's favoriteest thing in the world.
Whine and whisper, light ASMR.
Where you guys guess what I'm drinking based on how it sounds. Ready?
Okay. Yes, early, can we end this?
What?
Go.
I just did it.
Water.
That's
Coffee?
what I... What'd you say?
Coffee.
It's a good guess. Any more guesses?
Red Bull. So it's not water like always.
No. And if you guessed absolutely nothing, you win!
Okay, because I said I heard nothing.
Yes, you should have gone with your gut. I drank nothing. All right, now for the wine part.
Shelley, what did you say? She should have gone with her ears. She
Yes,
should have gone with her ears, not her gut.
it's true. Thank you, Zoe. You should have gone with your ears on that one. Okay, so I just want to say, since we have some whining to do, if you are a catalytic converter thief, I hate you. I hate you so much. I hope somebody steals your kneecaps. And that was Wine and a Whisper.
Oh my God, did someone steal your catalytic converter?
Yes. What gave it away?
I just had this insight. I don't know.
You're very intuitive, Matt. Yeah, somebody stole my catalytic converter. It was on the day of my best friend's wedding. No, yeah, I found out on the way to a wedding that I wasn't going to be taking the car there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got in the car and I turned it on and it was just like, brum, 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 like making the loudest noise. And I'm like, is it possible I just never noticed that that's what my car sounds like? No. Because then I looked at the thing that says, check your fucking engine. And I was like, okay, these are some clues that this is not normal. I then called Bull and I'm like, hey, something's going on. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I don't know what I mean. I just know I need you to come here and tell me what the problem is. Immediately, he's like, oh, someone stole your catalytic converter, which is pretty much a confession from him, right? Yeah, and he like, and he goes and he looks and he's like, yep, it's exactly what I suspected. They cut it the way I want. If you are a maniac and a vigilante maniac, please cut the catalytic converter thieves' knees and elbows at the joint. It seems befitting. Yeah, they cut it and they left just this little piece of car on the ground. They also cut into my frame and like a something hose. Yeah, the cops are useless. I know that's a shocker because they were like, it's $300. I'm like, in no world is it $300. I hate you. Because the more something is, the more work they have to do. So if they lowball it, they have less job. Also, they refuse to actually do their job. The first ones were like, doop, doop, can't help. All I hear is, I don't want to write paperwork. But what they said was, you can't move the car because evidence. I'm like, so you're telling me I can't take it to the mechanic right now? They're like, yeah, you can't because evidence. I'm like, what evidence are they going to collect? Because if they don't collect evidence, I'm going to be pretty fucking mad. These people just didn't want to write. They're lazy. Anyway, so then the other cops come. There is a Ring camera at one of the neighbors. They knock on every other door asking if they have a camera. Why don't you go to the Ring camera that's aimed at the car? Sorry, that would be doing my job.
Wow.
So did they go to the Ring camera aimed at the car eventually?
No, Lucy, they're cops.
Oh dear.
It's okay.
Yeah, they did zero of their jobs. But they did the motions.
Did you by any chance look in the trunk of the police car for a catalytic converter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it was. They said exactly where they sent the catalytic converter. It's somewhere near Shea Stadium. So if you want to know where the cops are sending your catalytic converters, it's somewhere near Shea Stadium. Okay? Where you can go and get your own catalytic converter put back in your car. America. So I just got her back. She's beautiful. She's different. She sounds different. She's hurt, but she's back.
As long as she's safe and working, right?
Yeah, and now there's a box on it, like a catalytic converter. Don't touch my catalytic converter box.
Nice.
Shield.
What? Shield. It's a shield, like Zelda. And Link.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that happened. So yeah, if you are a vigilante and you want to cut kneecaps, please target catalytic converter thieves. Pretty please. Just kidding, I don't incite violence. The thoughts and opinions expressed here are not those of the people expressing them. We just say things. Just get over it. Okay, now let's move on to the next segment. Does anybody want to talk about the world or anything that's going on in it at all?
Is anything happening?
The U.S. got eliminated
Yes,
from the
there
World
is an
Cup.
uproar.
Oh, the one in
gosh.
Doha in Qatar?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the
Dubai,
uproar?
wherever it is.
Is the uproar about sports, Zoe? The uproar, is it about sports or are you just saying in general?
Oh, no, there is an uproar about the Lord of the Rings TV show. Everybody who's an actual Lord of the Rings book fan, like they've read the Silmarillion, which is what the show is based off of. It takes place before the Lord of the Rings movies. Well, everybody's mad. I saw one YouTuber go and make a 30-minute video on how to make a dwarf beard using your hair because she was mad that there were no dwarves, female dwarfs that had beards because the female dwarfs are supposed to have beards as well. So she went and she made a 30-minute video on how to make a beard with your hair as a lady or someone just with long hair. And then at the end of the video was like, listen, don't use this method. It's awful, but still, I would have liked to seen at least one beard on a female dwarf in the series because they're supposed to have beards, the female dwarfs too. So also
that.
there were people that went
Scary.
and compared. Well, and also there were people that went and took like snapshots, little videos from the original Lord of the Rings, and compared lines from the characters in the Lord of the Rings to the younger characters that are in the Rings of Power show, and the dialogue is so not even comparable. You can't compare it. It's two different classes of television, is what I've been hearing. Personally, I kind of agree. I was very excited for the show though, but yeah, everybody's upset. Everybody is upset about the show.
Wow.
But
Bull, you've been
on the
watching
contrary, apparently people.
Yeah, I watched it. I didn't like it.
There you go. That's two for no.
I got my dad to watch it with me. Yeah, I got my dad to watch it with me. And the thing is, my dad does not like TV shows at all. He does not like TV shows. Just on principle, he does not like them. And we watched through it. It was great. It was like one of the few things we watched, together. And that was fun because we just pulled it apart together while we were watching it. And said, oh man, really? They really had to do that? And yeah. So yeah. On the contrary, though, on a positive note, apparently the Willow TV show, people really liked the first 2 episodes. So there's that. I haven't watched it. I'm scared to.
I wish I
I love
had
the movie.
somebody who would pull things apart with me. We watched Wednesday for Thanksgiving, and I was enraged by so many things. The thing that stands with me the most is, all right, you're Tim Burton. I think you've developed a photograph in your life, which means you know that there aren't 2 random liquids that you put a photograph in before you put it in developer. Like, stop it. Stop it with your lies. Developer, stop bath, fixer, rinse. There's nothing before developer. Okay. Also, check out Wednesday. It was pretty good otherwise.
Oh,
I've been
random.
wanting to watch that movie, actually.
Really a random point. According to the Roman historian Livy, the razor was introduced in Rome in the 6th century by Lucius Tarquinius Priscus. So before the 6th century, everyone had beards.
Whoa! So even the ladies. So
Yep.
chew on that, Lord of the Rings people.
Even the ladies that had
I
hormonal
wonder
issues.
I wonder why they called it a razor. because the guy's name has nothing to do with that. You'd think it would be like the name of the inventor or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But interesting.
You mean like a tit sling?
This is gonna keep me up tonight.
Like Otto Van Titsling.
Yeah.
What about Occam's razor? That seems completely unrelated, yet somehow that's a razor.
The what razor?
Occam's?
Don't know what that is.
Oh, Elaine, if you are watching, I want everybody to know that Elaine is very concerned for the world. She realized why I smoke. It's for everyone else's safety.
Okay.
Yeah. She has seen me sober, and she is scared. She thinks I should do edibles. So, Elaine, hearts to you. You're not wrong. And there is not a catalytic converter thief's body in my room right now. All right. That's the world. And now, does anybody have any uplifting animal news? Speaking of Elaine. I have some very sad animal
Uplifting
news.
animal news.
Oh,
You know Bones
what
or
is
No
it?
Bones?
Mm-mm.
Well, unfortunately,
Fat.
we've lost a 14-year-old pooch. I forget if their name was Nacho, but they're the pup that would do Bones or No Bones, the pug. Millions of people flocked to this TikTok to know if they were going to have a No Bones or Bones day. If there were no bones, it's bad. If there are bones, it's good. Do what you want. No bones
Bones
is self-care day. Yeah, it's no bones, no bones. Yeah. So
Okay.
that is
Didn't know anything about bones.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now for something uplifting. Anybody have any uplifting animal news? Because that's devastating. I only have more sad things.
It happens.
Yeah. No?
Oh,
Yeah.
uplifting animal news. Late on December 24th, 12 reindeer are going to lift a sleigh. And this guy in a red suit is going to deliver gifts to everybody.
Okay. Thanks,
Oh,
Matt.
that's really cool. Very unique.
Yeah.
I hope those
Very
animals are
special.
happy.
Mhm.
Not
Moving
led
right.
by
Yeah,
a
I even
unicorn.
heard rumor that one of the reindeers has like a glowing nose or something.
I've heard that.
Yep.
You sure it's not from unicorns? They're not unicorns.
I'm
out
pretty
there?
sure it was a nose and not a unicorn.
Okay.
Well, because
No
unicorns
unicorns, okay.
use a different kind of magic.
Yes, I know. I wondered if it was, that day if a lot of magic.
Well, and
came
also
out.
unicorns are much, much more rare, and they only show up for
Oh, more rare than
innocent ladies.
the sleigh.
Yeah, because that's every year.
Well, I think
Unicorns might
sleigh
happen less.
can be
I think Lucy has a point. I mean, like in terms of rarity, like Santa's sleigh, there's only one. I mean, there's more than one unicorn.
Wow.
Yeah,
There you
but
go.
you know what? Yeah, but you know what? What if his sleigh is like most people with their phones? You have your phone that you use right now. It's your newest phone that you have. But then you also have a phone from like 5 years ago that you've just hung on to for no apparent reason other than to have it. But it still works just fine. You just don't use it because it's like old Nokia or something like that. But it still works because, it's Nokia. It's going to work until you don't. It's going to work until after you don't, right? But I wonder if Santa's sleigh is kind of like that, where like he has his 2022 edition sleigh, but then like 10 years ago it was the old one that he revamped for this year, and so he has the old one from like I don't know 2012 or something like that, and maybe he has one from 2000.
Because I was actually driving by a
because
used
also
car lot.
I bet he stays
and I
on
saw-
trend too. Like
You
if
saw a sleigh?
Tenzo's in one year, then maybe he uses that. I'm putting too much thought into this. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I-
I just hope that Santa uses a burner sleigh to deliver coal.
I was driving by a used car lot and I saw a 1975 Santa sleigh. It looked pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, what can I say? The older the item, usually the better made it is, and it's probably going to last longer than the new one that you just bought yesterday.
Do you think Rudolph's
Yeah,
nose
I
is
mean,
now
like, well-
powered by LED?
Yeah, and like older older Santa sleighs just had more style and panache. I mean, like they had fins and they were like, you know, I don't know. There was just more, the designs were better. Now it's all like, the sleighs are all economical and they're just like, you know, modern. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind
Make
of like
the North Pole great again.
Sustainably built.
Yeah. Oh my God, the old sleighs used to eat up so much gas.
And they're bad for the environment. But they're built to last.
At least his new sleigh is like, true. But I mean, who knows? Maybe his new sleigh is like recyclable. Maybe it's made out of like recycled cardboard to make it extra lightweight, and it's like MDF and stuff like that. I don't know.
What if it's biodegradable and it could degrade on the trip?
It could be a hybrid.
Well, that's why he has to fly so high. He has to fly above the rain clouds so it doesn't melt.
Okay, guys, you know, appreciate your Christmas gifts this year because it could be, you know, difficult to get it to you. And now it's time.
Instead of horsepower, he has reindeer power.
Get to know our guest. Reindeer power. All right, Zoe, welcome. You are our guest.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be here again. It's great to see all these lovely faces. Hi.
And it's great to see you. You had a completely vegetarian Thanksgiving, right?
I sure did. Not vegan, although actually, hang on. No, it was vegan?
Wow, secretly vegan.
I think it was almost vegan.
Almost vegan Thanksgiving.
Sometimes. It depends a little bit on the dairy products, but yeah, it was just my mom and me this year, and we're both vegetarians, so we did not have any meat products, any animal products really. We might have used this one heavy cream for something, but I can't recall. So for the most part, it was vegetarian, possibly vegan. But yeah, you couldn't have noticed either. So
nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed it.
I adopted a turkey from Farm Sanctuary as well as Woodstock. So Danny from Woodstock, she's a chatty bird, and then Roberto, the adventurer from Farm Sanctuary. So yeah, that was my thing.
Wait, I thought Roberto was human.
Yeah, he's an adventurer, and you can adopt him now. If you guys want to adopt a Roberto, just Venmo him. I'm sure. I don't know. I'm sure there's somewhere we could work this out. So how are your cats, Zoe? I guess that makes this getting to our guest, but also time for Tattletales. It's both. I'm all over the place, guys. Where we talk about our pets.
Okay, to be fair though, pet owners, it's like constant tattletales because we are our pets and our pets are us, and we're one and the same entity, right? But yeah, they're all doing really good. Susie bit me really hard today, but that's not news, so we're good.
Oh my God.
Susie!
Are you okay?
She plays.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I grew up with cats and it's all good. But they're all doing really, really well. Jack has been pretending to be my melatonin, and so he's been helping me count the sheepies at night. Best melatonin there is. Definitely recommend to Jack.
Sure.
Let's see. Yeah. Leo is I forget if I mentioned that before or not, but over the summer he was diagnosed with a kind of cancer, and so we've been just kind of making him comfortable and just trying to keep him good. But he's been doing pretty good. Chemo was not working for him. It actually made him worse, and so we took him off of that a little bit ago, and he's doing so much better now that he's off the chemo, which is great. So we have him on this like homeopathic CBD paste, which seems to be really helping. Some prednisolone, and so far so good. He has his up days, he has his down days, just like a human, but for the most part he's here, he's purring, and he's happy, and he yells at us for food, which is always a good sign. So yeah, can't complain.
That's
Can I ask you something about the yells at you for food? Did he yell before the prednisone?
Yeah, he always yelled.
It never got louder?
He's a very vocal cat when it comes for food. No.
Oh, okay. Because my cat, Joey, who's the food cat, of course, being a Joey, he's on prednisone. And it seems that he's getting louder and louder. And I think it's the prednisone that's done it, because now it's almost like roid rage.
I mean, he hasn't gotten louder. Usually, for us, what we've noticed is that sometimes he has a little bit like nausea, and so we need to keep an eye on the nausea, and that's what will affect him with food. So, yeah, sometimes it's that. We also notice that sometimes he is not interested in the food. He's in the kitchen, he's yelling for food, but he's not interested in the food that we're giving him. And one thing that everybody has kind of said is that cats with, I think it's cats with cancer or cats on prednisolone have trouble with their taste buds and such, and so they need stronger scents to kind of get them into the mood for the food. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll grab very pungent cat food, which I mean, we all love that. Duck is very, very strong smelling, but he likes it a lot. Tuna is really good, and sometimes what you can do is you can take a can of unsalted tuna, and you can take the juice from inside the can, as long as it's not oil, like it should be water based. But you can take some of the juice from the can, dribble it over the cat food, and that should help with the appetite.
Have you tried fish oil? Does that work?
They don't like fish. They don't necessarily like fish.
We haven't really tried the fish oil, but yeah, chicken is really good. We try not to do too much chicken though, because chicken by itself doesn't have enough vitamins and nutrients. So you have to supplement that with either the regular cat food or put like additives over their food, which they did with the chicken.
I don't mean that. Everybody always thinks that, cats love fish. Cats love fish. I don't.
Mine does.
No.
My cat will
not
eat.
They love tuna.
They love the salt.
Yeah. They love tuna. They like salmon. Whitefish, not so much. It's very weird. Like we've gotten like cat food before that's based off of whitefish. They did not like it very much at all.
No, I mean the actual fish.
Oh, like a fish.
I mean the actual fish.
Like
fish.
a cartoon cat.
They'll eat the tuna, or they'll eat the whatever in the cans, the cat food with the fish, but they won't eat fish. People food, they only love chicken. Chicken's your guarantee.
My cat is a weirdo. She'll eat
chicken
things, but she won't
they'll go
eat
crazy
chicken
for it.
or beef. Like she likes fish for cat food, and then whatever I'm eating, she likes to just ruin with her face and like a little.
They just want to smell it sometimes. They're not going to eat. They just want to smell it.
No, she wants to spit in it.
Yeah, chicken is dangerous though.
Yeah, yours
turkey too.
Yeah.
My cats also like turkey. They love the turkey.
It's chicken. It's poultry. It's poultry. They like their poultry. Give them a bird. They're happy. Chandler's getting.
I remember this one time we had a package of like cold cuts from the deli, and I think it was like some kind of chicken cold cut, and we left it it was wrapped up in like plastic and paper and whatnot, whatever the deli put around it, and we left it for like 5 minutes on the kitchen table. And by the time we'd gotten back to whatever we were doing, one of my cats that I was growing up with, there was Pashi and Loki. Loki had hopped up on the table, somehow ripped her way into the packaging, past the plastic, past the wax paper, and had already started eating cold cuts. So there were no cold cuts for our bagels that day.
That's my Joey. That's my Joey.
I could see our current cats doing that too, actually. But yeah.
He'll go through anything. I have to put like lids on things. I have to be very, very careful. So everything's got to go in the oven, even if there's nothing else. I've got to hide everything because he will.
Well, also bread. It's very weird. I actually have a cat who, bread, and I had a cat hop up on the counter once, and I figured, I made this ready-made frozen pizza. And it had like truffle oil on it, like the Italian truffle oil, not chocolate, but like truffle oil on it, and mushrooms. And I'm like, that's pungent enough. It's not a cat thing. I'm going to leave it. I'll be right back. And I left and I came back like 2 seconds later. And one of my cats, Jack, had already hopped up on the countertop and was starting to lick the sauce off of the pizza. And I'm like, it's tomatoes, mushrooms, and oil. That's a very weird combo for a cat. He loves it. Also, he's the only cat that will hop up on the counter, grab a piece of bread, drag it off the counter so he can then lick it in peace.
I have a Joey who does that, and he'll grab the damn pizza out of your mouth.
Yeah.
He will grab the pizza. Actually, the pizza he tries to grab with the hand. So he puts the paw and he does this. So he's grabbing with the paw to put your hand that's got the pizza in it in his mouth.
Oh my
Okay?
God.
Like this. Because he'll come right there. He'll just do this. He'll come so close. He'll make such noise. He's in the pizza. So that he will grab from your hand. He'll scratch you. He'll do damage so you can get pizza.
Oh my God.
Fine. But what is that bread I keep telling you all about? There's a sweet bread that we have. That one, he will literally grab that out of your mouth. I know because he's done it. Out of your mouth. My mother was here once many years ago, and I had told her about it, so she thought it was funny, didn't believe it. So we're upstairs in the kitchen, and the bedrooms are downstairs. So I open up the thing, and the bread basket had one of those in it. Hadn't been opened yet. And I just open it up, take it out of the plastic. Not a couple of minutes pass. All of a sudden, he's coming upstairs and he's jumping on the other counter. She goes, "You're kidding me." I said, "I told you. I told you."
Well,
Yep.
and of course, there's the added thing of like cats will learn to, they'll learn like what a certain like product they enjoy eating sounds like. So like the cans that they like, they'll know what the can sounds like versus like a can of beans. They'll also know the sound because when we drive up to the house, they hear, I'm pretty sure it's the honking of the car when we lock the car that they hear, because by the time we walk up to the front door, they're already right there by the door waiting for us to get inside.
Sure.
So they're like super, super smart animals. They learn like all the sounds. It's very interesting.
You know, I don't know why people say that cats aren't like dogs. In what way? My cats wait for me at the door, like you say. They follow me around like a dog. I've got two of them that are long hairs, and those are not cats, they're dogs. They're dogs. The long hairs are dogs. Where is it? I'm serious. They're right here. They're always around, you know, and they're different. They're just different. But cats are very much like dogs like that. They're waiting for you at the door. They do all of that. They're not overly. That's the only difference. But
my cat can be overly though.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of them. She's a pain in the butt. Every time you put something down, it's what she has to sit on.
She's like that.
Whatever you put down, that's what she's going to sit on.
Has the cat that usually doesn't go near anyone done anything lately?
To this morning, she got very ballsy. We were outside having coffee, and she comes in the kitchen because we only have one door now that she can kind of go out of because it's winter. So, but there's cat boxes inside, so that's not an issue. Cat boxes and food are inside, but there's only one outside. And so she came into the kitchen, and the next thing you know, she's now on the counter. So she's getting ballsy coming closer. But because she's calling for her boyfriend, which is Joey.
Aww.
Very loudly.
Oh, does she do cat calls?
Nice. How is Mitzi?
But
she's good. She's right here.
Oh my
There's little girl.
Oh, so cute.
Little girl. She's like, "Why you do that to me, Daddy?" Paying you no mind.
Yeah. So when I went to, I was in New Jersey for Thanksgiving. So she stayed at a cat hotel, and
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think which was she seemed fine. It worked out. So that was an adventure for her. Just like going to like a whole different world.
I hope she's okay.
Yeah. She's she's glad to be home and stuff. So
I'm sure.
What was it like? Was it cages or was it like they can all play?
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I think it was cages.
Yeah. I think cages might be safer.
Aww. They make it sound so nice, but
yeah, because cats don't always.
Cats.
They don't always play together well.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
No.
I wouldn't necessarily have a cat park.
No, I mean maybe a cat cafe, but that's different.
No, wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do
Well,
it. They
so, I
wouldn't.
mean, the thing
Right,
with
no.
cats
Craig?
is they're territorial. I think that's the
Little
biggest
bit.
thing.
But this is
Little
like a
bit.
neutral
Just
territory,
a
so I
little.
wonder.
There's no neutral. Somebody's pissing.
Oh yeah, everybody's getting pissed on.
There's no neutral. They have to. They definitely get territorial.
That's
They
true.
can't
Yeah.
integrate.
First come,
you
first
know,
serve.
which-
You touched my
Yeah.
cage door, right?
Yeah, when
Well, I've
Toby
got-
came
I've
here,
got-
she peed on everything and bit my dog on the butthole. She's like, I'm alpha now. She was
Well,
like,
I have 4 cats now. I've got 8 litter boxes. 3 of them are inside.
Hmm.
5 of them are outside.
I think the only way that you can have like a bunch of cats hanging out in the same big room is if they're at a jazz club.
I was gonna say jazz cats. Yes, exactly. Speaking of jazz cats, Zoe, what have you brought for us?
Well, it's not jazz, but
Get out.
let's see here. Okay, bye.
No, go on. It's being dramatic.
Let's see here. All right, so hang on. I'm gonna take this. So, can you guys hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
Can you guys hear
I'm
this
gonna go
okay?
mute. I'm going mute.
So, this song is called Bottle It Up. It is about bottling up your emotions, keeping them bottled up inside. So, it's kind of positive, but ish. Let's see here. Okay. So, hang on. There's the loud metronome. What's smile, what's a laugh, worst case scenario you could have. Make it grand, pretend to be fine, even if it's your biggest lie. Feeling alright, just bottle it up. Use a little for your own gain. Oh, cracking from the pressure, bottle it up. Use a little for your own gain. And just bottle it up. Bottle it up. The jokes are bad, but just laugh. Eventually, that messed up humor will pass. Think right now, you can't feel the song. Just keep faking till you die. Keep faking it till you're making it. Feeling right, just bottle it up. Use a little for your own gain. Oh, cracking from the pressure, bottle it up. Cork it for good measure and just bottle it up. See, it almost becomes easy. So easy, it's kind of scary. But see, it almost becomes easy. Way too easy. Feeling right, just bottle it up. Use a little for your own gain. Oh, cracking from the pressure, bottle it up. Cork it for good measure and just feeling right, just bottle it up. Use a little for your own gain. Oh, cracking from the pressure, bottle it up. Cork it for good measure and just oh, bottle it up. Oh, bottle it up. 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 Bottle it you.
Beautiful. Also relatable.
I just think you're adorable.
Yeah,
So,
sounded
But
good.
so that's all it up.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
where could one find that if they wanted to hear it again?
Well, technically, it's not out.
Ooh.
So and it might not be out for a little bit. So it's more of like a sneak peek of, hey, this song will be out in the future. So go follow me and you'll be able to listen to it when it's out.
Nice.
But
so we got the exclusives. That's beautiful. That
Was there an event that kind of led you to the right event? Was there an event that led you to write that, or was that just random?
I think we're having audio stuff.
yes, hooray for Bluetooth.
But I think you're back.
Turn that off and then try this again. Sorry.
I'm going with there was a specific incident.
All right, now it should work okay. There we go. All right. So the song is not out. This is a sneak peek, a preview, if you will, and it will be out at some point.
What was the inspiration for the song?
Well, I mean, kind of like I'm kind of one of those people who bottles up their emotion. And so it's just like you can use your emotion, or at least I do often. I use my emotion towards other things. Like, for instance, when I'm angry, I clean. So when my room is, or when my space is very clean, that's when something pissed me off, probably. But you can use, like, you bottle up that emotion, but then what do you do with it, right? Because it's not healthy to just bottle it up and then not do anything with it, because it just kind of simmers and eventually it's going to blow. That bottle isn't going to hold everything, right? You can pop a cork in it and it's going to eventually, something is going to blow up. But you can funnel that energy towards something else, right? Towards something productive. So I guess that's part of the inspiration for the song. It's like, usually when I get angry or upset or something, I'll try and funnel it into something positive, like cleaning or organizing my closet is a big one. Yeah.
I need to invite you over to my house and get you angry so you can hulk out on my mess.
You can also
It won't take long. Once you enter, you get angry.
I mean, here's the other thing though, is I haven't been drunk a whole lot of times, but the last time I was drunk, I cleaned the kitchen. So
like correctly or drunkenly?
No, correctly.
No.
Correctly. I become very, very responsible when I'm a little bit under the influence.
That's a superpower.
I clean the counters. I make sure that we have water. I make sure everybody's drinking enough water. I make sure if we have snacks, I'll even cook. So yeah. And I woke up the next morning.
So you become Monica?
Didn't have a headache.
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah. I woke up in the morning. I didn't have a headache at all. And I woke up, I looked at the kitchen, and it was pristine. It was great.
I woke up in the morning feeling like M. Geller. Which reminds me, it's time for...
Ooh, that reminds me.
And the word to get started is bottle.
Bottle it up.
Mm-hmm. Bottles remind me of like sea glass. I love finding sea glass on the beach because it's been like, I don't know, like tossed and turned in the ocean, so it's all nice and soft. And it's got such a neat color too. Like a green bottle can be so ordinary when it's just a bottle you see somewhere, but then on the ocean side, on the beach, when you see the green pieces, it's just so special. It looks cool.
I think bottles and oceans kind of reminds me of a message in a bottle. Just the idea of like, oh, what the hell? It's just like, this is what's important to me. Maybe someone will find it. Just like one of those like kind of trusting on luck things. It's just like, sometimes there's serendipity. You never know. So like some people, I don't know. I don't play lotto. I don't play, but there's just like, and there are people that believe in luck, and there are people that take a chance on luck, and there are people that don't.
That reminds me, I think I may have done that once. My mom will confirm or deny later, but it also reminds me recently there was somebody that found a bottle. It was 100-year-old more bottle with a note inside, and this woman broke the bottle to get the note out. Why?
That reminds me of like breaking a mirror and getting like 7 years bad luck. I'm sure that had some kind of repercussion.
Oh my God.
That reminds me of like.
That reminds me, like clumsy people that work at furniture stores have very short lifespans.
That reminds me of a job that I had that was very scary. Like, I loved it. It was karaoke, but also every single time I came in, I felt like there was a new, this is how you die, obstacle course built into the day.
Wow.
That reminds me of working the glass section at Michael's craft store. I was one of the few people that they trusted to work the glass section, I guess, because I got it every single time the truck came in. And so I was the glass restock person.
Oh.
What? Like candles, everything glass, frames, like what?
Like all the glass, like, you know, the aisle in Michael's that has like all the different like jars and then the different candle holders and then the different vase or vase, however you prefer to pronounce it. Those, I stocked those.
I can't go down those aisles.
I had to climb some like ladders and stuff to get to the top shelves to put boxes of those glass things up there. I'm happy to say I never fumbled a single box and I never broke anything. I did open a couple boxes that were already broken, but that was not because of me. That was in transit. But I never broke. I never broke anything.
No, I couldn't even stand near a cake a few days ago because I was worried I'd just like jump into it by accident.
Oh, that reminds me.
I am not team you off.
That's where I get it.
That reminds me that I work for, I deliver Uber Eats, and I rarely spill anything. Like I drive around and I just like drive like normal, but they, you know, the stuff gets there. You know, it's kind of amazing. You know, going like 40 and 50 miles an hour and like no spills.
Where do you
put it on the floor?
I put it in shotgun. And they usually, I mean, I have my cup holder. If it's just one drink, I'll just put it in there. But if there's more than one drink, they'll give me a carrier. But yeah.
That reminds me of the time I got coffees for my coworkers at the music school. And I had like, it was more than one of the trays. I think it was like 5 drinks. And so like the whole tray was filled and I had 2 drinks in the cup holder. So wait, that makes 6.
Yeah.
So it was 6.
One goes in the
and
middle.
And I remember being absolutely terrified because the 4 tray of the drinks had to go on I didn't want to put it in the seat of my car because my seats are very angled. And so I ended up putting on the floor of my shotgun seat. And I remember being terrified, absolutely terrified, and very thankful that the majority of my coworkers had ordered frappes. And so even if they fell over, they weren't likely to spill.
Oh man, now's a good time to remind you that Starbucks is a milk company. It's not a coffee company. That's insider information, guys. They don't want you to know this, but it's a milk company.
Oh, so what you do, you actually order milk with a whole lot of coffee?
Not a whole lot. You order a lot of milk with a little bit of coffee in it. Just a splash. Just a splash of coffee.
That's the truth. Here in Greece, the Starbucks is different. What's different is they put much more coffee in it. For example, the big one.
That's because they can't get away with it there.
Because it's Greece.
No. Quite the opposite. It's not that. Oh. Here, when you order an espresso or a cappuccino, the espresso is this big, like a noodle. So it's a tiny little thing. It's one little shot and you're done. In Starbucks, when you order an espresso, it's much more than that. They give it to you in a tall, so you'll have a couple of shots in there. But that's not the point. When they make a cappuccino here, it's a small one. But when you have to do a venti where you've got 20
ounces,
milligram, whatever, ounces or mLs of 20 ounces of milk in there, or liquid in there, you've got to do something. So here we do it with automatically with 3 shots. In the States, it's 2 shots. You have to order the third. So they automatically put more coffee here.
Oh.
Yeah, the difference between a grande and a venti is the milk. You're not getting more coffee. You're getting more milk. Yeah.
Exactly. So we order.
And ice.
No, not if it's hot. If it's hot, it's just more foam, more milk. It's like the tall is 1 shot and the short is 1 shot. The grande is 2 shots. So is the venti. So it's just more milk.
Exactly. Yeah. So I get
interesting,
right, but here the venti is 3 shots automatically.
The way it should be.
Automatically 3 shots. It has more flavor. Yeah. But that's one of the complaints that they have here, is that it's all milk. It's not coffee.
It's not. But they know. Americans don't know. They're just like, yum, 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 give me my milk, yum, yum, yum. And they have no idea that it's not really coffee.
Yeah.
And a frappuccino, don't even get me started on what that is. There's no coffee in it, right? None?
No, there's no coffee.
And the people making it hate you. I just want you to know that. People who drink frappuccinos, just know that when you order that, the person dies inside a little and then sends it off to their friend. And then the friend now hates them for doing that. Okay? Just so you know. How it goes.
I'm an iced shaken espresso girl. I like ice shaken espressos. So those are my favorite.
Have you had
we have some
here. I make a really, really good one. So when I can avoid going out for coffee, I usually make my own because I have an espresso machine. I might as well make it myself.
Oh, nice. I wanted
one. Of course.
I can't have coffee anymore though.
It's a very, very cheap one from Amazon.
Doesn't matter. But it's I wanted it. I probably looked at it and wanted it and put it on my list, and then the doctor was like, no coffee for you. I'm like, I hardly drink coffee. Yeah. And then I realized I drink a lot of coffee. I drink it all day.
I drink so much coffee.
I drink coffee to drink coffee, and then I drink coffee drinks. I got a problem, man.
Yeah. I can't drink coffee after a certain time. Here in Greece, coffee is very important. Coffee is very important to us here. Like we don't go out. I've told you this in the past. We don't go out for drinks. We go out for coffee here. So that's like the national whatever. And we have something called a Freddo cappuccino, and Freddo espresso.
Is that the brother that iced. You kill? Sorry, spoiler if you haven't seen any of the Godfathers.
Not that Fredo.
And the Frappuccino with instant Nescafe is really good. Like the actual frappe.
Yeah, but that's different. And yeah, anyway. So we have a Freddo cappuccino and a Freddo whatever. But it's basically just espresso like you're doing, where you melt the sugar and then you put the ice. That's your iced espresso.
Okay.
There you go. It's a Freddo espresso like that.
Zoe, I recommend checking out the Starbucks version of an iced macchiato. It's not a real macchiato, but what it is, it's layered and it's pretty. So I like it. Just because it's pretty. That's it.
I do like the pretty drinks. Yeah.
Isn't a macchiato just a lungo with a little bit of milk in it?
The macchiato here, like a Starbucks macchiato is not a macchiato. So what it is it's shots on the bottom of the ice and then milk on top, creating like a layery look, which is not a macchiato.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Starbucks caramel macchiato or iced macchiato.
They shouldn't call it a...
They should call it
just a little bit of...
They should call it a macchiato.
Yes.
They should call it a macchiato.
It isn't macchiato.
Not a macchiato.
It is not macchiato. That is exactly what they should call it.
And if somebody orders it with nut milk or alternative milks, they can call it a
nuttiato.
But,
a nuttiato. I like nuttiato better, yeah. And now it's time for...
That is catchy.
What now?
Where we bring you a completely random and anonymous couple's gripes and have you settle it. Remember, there's no right or wrong, but if there was, whose side are you on? All right. Hypothetically speaking, a human being is in the kitchen cooking and they come out with food and they're like, here, try this. And the food looks like a cheese or something, right? Would you be comfortable if that thing that you were just told to try without any context was a sliver of butter?
Yeah.
You eat slivers of butter?
He
No, I
liked
would have an
butter.
issue with that.
You don't have an issue with it?
I would have an issue with that.
Okay, what's the issue with that?
Well, it's like, what?
Thank you. I mean, I agree, Matt. You're right. Not that there's any right or wrong.
I would be mildly confused. I wouldn't want to. I mean, it depends on the butter. If it's like regular dairy, butter's not my friend. So there's that. I don't know.
I think
it is a bit odd, I guess.
If someone made butter like out of milk and they wanted you to try the finished product, that would make sense.
Yeah, not even on a piece of bread because it's homemade butter.
I mean, maybe a little bit of bread though, or like a little bit of a cracker that's like not
Was
super
it homemade
flavorful,
butter?
so you can still get the butter. But
all right, so you heard it here. People don't eat butter. Don't do that to people. Stop feeding people butter. Whoever you are, listeners, viewers, people who write in, this comes from listener mail. Obviously, it's completely random. But I'll say that the butterer is wrong and the buttery is right. Thank you for settling that. Completely random and anonymous gripe. Now it's time for Ask Mom.
Ask me something. Come on.
I've got one. I want to know why we don't have natural trees anymore in our home.
What you talking?
I'm talking, how come when I grew up my entire lifetime we had an artificial tree and not a real one?
Oh, Christmas
Oh,
tree.
you mean Christmas?
It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Okay. Because Christmas trees got, first of all, you're killing the trees. And also they got very, 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 very expensive and they would die. So it was easier to get a tree that was pristine, the way and size that you need it, to have it not die. And the time before, one of those times, as you know, we tried to dispose of the tree. That's what you wanted.
That's the question. Yes, that's why I asked. Let's get to that.
Okay. Well, there was a time when we still had trees where my brother and I, who
Here's
rarely
the real reason,
ever
everybody.
agree on anything, decided because we were too lazy to take the tree outside to throw it out, that we were going to do extra effort and cut it up.
So that answers that. I was curious if it was cut or not.
So we cut the tree. We had to cut the tree. You can't just put the tree in the fireplace.
Who knows what you were doing? You probably shouldn't have done any of it.
So we got...
I didn't know where the lines were drawn.
The shrubbery, the whatever, the little the things all
Garland.
over the floor. No,
needles.
Just the
things,
needles.
That's it.
Needles.
The needles all over the floor. We've cut the tree. We've got bark. We got this. We got that. We put the tree in the fireplace. Do you know how flammable a dead Christmas tree is?
So.
And pungent, I imagine.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't so much that. But as soon as you put the flame on it, all of a sudden the flames go up like there was some kind of gas, because there is. It's from the tree, and it goes. The whole fireplace. Imagine fireplace, tree inside the fire. Not tree, but the twigs of the trees or bushes, whatever, in there. I mean, not the whole tree. We were doing it in pieces. But the first one we did, we realized we're not going to continue.
Was it the last?
The last. So we do that, and now the flames have come out of the fireplace and going up towards the ceiling, but they haven't hit the ceiling. And then they go back down. We try to shut that glass door, and I don't remember what happened, but somehow the went back down. So now we're throwing out the tree. We're cleaning up the living room. We're getting rid of everything in the fireplace because the fireplace has also got a mess now, right? We did all of that. We cleaned everything up. The house is clean. Everything is fine. Nothing is out of place. My mother comes home. She looks inside to see that we took the tree down. She goes, nice, they took the tree down. And she does this and she goes, what did you do to the fireplace?
What did you do?
What happened over here? What happened here? What are you talking about? What is all that black on the fireplace? We couldn't see the black on the fireplace that she saw. Still, even afterwards, we couldn't see it.
Wow.
Even after she pointed it out.
Bit of a Monica.
A bit. So it was amazing, but it did make the marks or something. You could see it in the morning, but she saw it, boom, dead on. Like immediately. Like, what's that?
So you
What's that black on my
So
fireplace?
you've described it in a way where you kind of got rid of all the evidence.
We cleaned up.
Uh-huh. When I asked Nitsa about this, she explained that the house was black, the fireplace was black, everything was black except for what was wet. Was there water?
I don't recall. There might have been.
Yeah. So her version of it was everything was wet and black with ash and from fire. And I'm like, so did they put the whole tree in or just pieces? And it sounded
No,
like it
pieces.
was the whole tree from her story.
Well, it was a bit of the tree. It might have been like, cut the top and put it in kind of thing. I don't recall, but her version may have
You could say your memory
clearer
was
details.
blacked out of the moment.
You were what?
You
Of the
could
moment?
say that your memory was blacked out for that
For
moment.
example.
There you have
What
it.
age
The
were you?
details are
What age
far
were you?
What?
crazy.
I don't know, 25?
See, I said that. When I told Bull this, he's like, they were kids. They didn't know any better. I'm like, she was in her 20s. I'm telling you. He's like, no, she wasn't. I'm like, no, I'm telling you. She was in her 20s.
yeah.
This is right
Yeah.
before I was born. And I'm like, and he wasn't less than 17. So, like, no. They were older than that. They should have known better. But the moral of the story, I mean, the important part is that that's what you agreed on. It was the first thing the two of you agreed on.
So that's exactly true. My brother and I argue over anything. I mean, anything. What color is that lighter? I'm telling you, we're going to have two different versions of green. He's going to say blue. Anyway.
It's chartreuse. It's lime.
Whatever.
Chartreuse. Lime.
We will argue and debate over anything. You pick it, you point to it, we'll find a way. Is this a fair thing, Kathryn, what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because it's true.
So when we agree, there's a problem.
Just run. Just run. The last time they agreed was 2020, and that created COVID. All right, guys? That was 2019.
It's the end of days.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
so
So there you have
what can
it.
I say?
They only agree when it's a bad idea.
Probably.
And now, Christina might not be here, but there are conspiracies afoot, and we need to talk about it. Does anybody want to talk about any conspiracies afoot?
Go ahead.
All right, fine. I don't really have any. I just was hoping that somebody would. But I do find it considerably concerning that are you guys following the Idaho college murders at all?
No.
Wow.
Nope.
We are very different people. I listen to murders for breakfast, and you guys don't even know about the newest. It's not even the newest anymore because there's new ones since then, but I won't bore you with all that.
I got my nose in a book like 95% of the time. I don't know what goes on.
Yeah, fair enough. I've read books also about murders and murderers. So yeah, there's a strange thing going on in Idaho where 4 college students were stabbed in the middle of the night, kind of between 3 and 4 a.m. on the 13th of the month. Now, the police originally said that it was personal and targeted and that everybody was safe, but now they're saying nobody is safe because they don't know who it is and it might not be somebody like personal and targeted so much as just targeted and personal, but not like, you know, that personal. And then there are other cases that kind of have some similarities. There was this couple that were stabbed at the same time between 3 and 4, and it was on the 13th of the month. Then another woman before that was found on the 14th of the month, same story. And then there's a dog that was skinned somewhere not far from where they were found. All of these things are unrelated, supposedly. I'm going to just suggest that maybe cops don't know everything.
Wait a minute. Are they all on the same date and nothing that links them, though?
It's not the same
Other
date.
than the
It's
date?
the 13th of the month. The methodology is similar. It's a person that snuck in the middle of the night. They also didn't kill the
Okay.
dog that was in the building. And
Wait
there
a
were
minute, but
witnesses that woke up and did the thing.
Wait a second. Wait, but they say, how do you skin the dog and he didn't kill it? What are you talking about?
No.
Yeah.
So the dog that was skinned is separate. That was like 5 miles from, I don't know the actual number of miles, but that was some number of miles from the Idaho kids. There was a
That
skinned
doesn't
dog
sound like.
like a
But
month
that
or
doesn't
2.
sound like the same thing.
Well, who knows? I mean, it could be the
That
same
doesn't
knife.
sound like the same. But it doesn't sound like the same thing because that's not even remotely what's happening.
Because they weren't
So
skinned,
if
you
you-
mean?
Yeah.
I guess. But it is
not
concerning that a
part of
place that
the-
doesn't have incidents since 2015, there hasn't even been a murder in that town, and now you've got a skinned dog and then 4 people.
Ugh.
I mean, somebody moved to Idaho.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying that wherever those other things happened, they came from there, is my suggestion. I originally thought it was the guy at the taco truck. It wasn't a taco truck, it was a pasta truck. But anyway, the food truck. I thought it was the lurker. And then I was like, could be the ex-boyfriend because, you know, the way she was swinging that dog's arms around is motive. But I don't know. I don't know. We all don't know. The world doesn't know. And then there's also another story that happened in Mexico with a woman named Shanquella Robinson. She went with her friends, but she didn't return, and her friends told her mom that she died of alcohol poisoning, but the actual medical report said that it was, I forget exactly what it's called, but it basically means that your head was kind of like your neck was jostled and spinal cord injuries. And then they later found video of her friends attacking her and doing
you're kidding.
nothing. Yeah, so they're investigating it as a femicide, and they want to extradite a person to Mexico.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
So they beat her?
that's what it sounds like, yeah. And videoed it.
Oh. And videoed it.
Yeah. Yep.
People are so crazy.
Lovely.
Uh-huh. So the conspiracy is don't trust your friends.
Well, duh. They're not
Exactly
friends.
what's going to hear.
Yeah. But she didn't know that when she decided to take a trip to Mexico. And according to some things I found online, and this may or may not be true, she paid for the trip and they owed her money, and that could be motive. And all of them had businesses, but hers was the only one successful. So it could have been jealousy, and it could have been something that they set up. But again, that's all stuff that isn't officially released. And I found it, you know, through other avenues. So I'm not sure how
This is-
accurate.
This wasn't on a cruise of any kind.
Are you talking about the person that fell off and was treading water for 15 hours?
No. One that bought the trip for the friends and all. No.
A while ago or recently?
It might have been a while ago. That's why I was wondering. This isn't that.
No, this is completely new. It happened
Recent. Okay.
Yeah, it happened recently, and then they weren't even looking into it. They were just like, okay, it happened, and it was alcohol poisoning, and then that was kind of the end of it. Until finally, somebody sent a video that had been circulating online to the mother, like, hey, by the way, you might want to see this because that's not okay.
Circulating online.
Yes, something is up, and there's a reason. I'm sure that they're investigating it as a femicide. I think it was very deliberate.
Oh my
And premeditated.
It sounds deliberate.
Yeah. So right now they're only looking at one person to extradite, but I think the whole group probably.
That's called aiding and abetting.
It sounds like something out of that whole Anna Delvey. It sounds like something out of that whole Anna Delvey story.
It's that
is
but
what it
so
reminds me
much
of.
Worse.
Why? That's got nothing to do with it. That's different.
Well,
She just had
she's
no...
actually dead.
No, Anna Delvey is not dead.
No.
Anna Delvey
No, she's
is
the one that does
No. The girl from the girl who was killed by her friend. It's worse because she's dead, whereas Anna is
I
not
think
dead.
you're saying Anna Delvey in the sense that like the not paying for things or the owing money part.
Well, a little bit, but it sounds kind of like that story as in it doesn't sound quite real. It sounds like something Hollywood would.
Oh, I see what you mean.
be
Yes,
honest.
it doesn't sound real. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds.
What's
something-
Speaking of
femicide
Hollywood,
doesn't
by the
sound
way,
real?
The Watcher.
The
Well,
femicide
it
doesn't
sounds.
sound
It
real.
sounds.
Girls are mean. It sounds real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like killing mean, like mean enough to kill. I don't know about that,
Yes.
but
Yeah. That's how girls are mean. Girls are vicious.
I can tell you
Oh,
stories
they are
about
mean.
little girls
Mhm,
who have
yes.
done it too. I mean, it's crazy. It's not. It usually, obviously, it's a male person, but there are some bad girls out there, even some bad friends. That
oh
have
yeah,
done
no, I'm
things.
not saying like no. Like I'm not saying like girls are not capable of this. This does not sound like something you would just hear about. This sounds like something like you'd see in like a big Hollywood film, thriller film or something.
And then you'd think that
Well,
that would never happen.
So.
That's too much.
Well, that's the why. But
And
the
then you see
girls,
at the
when
end
they
it's
do-
based on a true story.
And you're just like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, The Watcher is. I think they're coming out with a second series, a second season for The Watcher.
What?
I haven't seen any of it.
I don't know it yet. Oh,
Mhm.
here's something that I will add to the conspiracy list. Does anybody know and/or has been following Debbie Collier, the Georgia mother?
What's that?
So this woman, Debbie Collier, went shopping at like a Dollar General. She bought like a tarp, a red bag, and a lighter, and maybe some other things. And it wasn't a Dollar General that she went to often. And she was wearing like a jersey for some sort of game, a red one. And then a little while after that, she sent her daughter like nearly $4,000 or $3,000. I forget. Whatever it was very close, $2,400 maybe. It was very close to the amount of money that her daughter's boyfriend owed. So that's just an interesting detail. And the message said something like, they're not going to let me go. The key's under the pot. I love you. And then she was found deceased, burned in like a woods and holding onto a tree. And they looked into it. They couldn't find any suspects, and they've ruled it a suicide. Which doesn't seem...
Wait, how the hell is it a suicide if you're tied to a tree and burned?
No, not tied to
Yeah.
a tree. She was holding a tree and burned and topless. I don't think it is one. I think that they just don't want to do their job and like actually investigate this. I think that's what I think. I don't know.
There's something more to that.
I mean,
one.
realistically speaking, if she was burned, I mean, the rope
There's
could have
something
been
more
burnt
to that
off.
one.
What'd you say, Zoe?
There's something.
Well, I mean, if she was maybe tied to the tree, she could have been tied to make it look like she was holding the tree, but the rope
ropes
could
would
have
have
burnt off. She said, she
Yeah, but there'd been markings of
Mhm,
that.
yeah.
There'd have been markings of some kind.
Yeah, an interesting detail is that
Yeah, but if they were trying to make it look if they were maybe trying to make it look like a suicide.
Yeah.
How could you make that look like a
Who knows?
suicide?
By tying her in a
I
way where
wouldn't.
you burn the
I'm
ropes
not. I'm
and
not a.
somehow,
I'm
I
not
don't
a.
know.
I'm not a
Okay.
killer. I wouldn't know.
Seriously, yeah, you don't strike me as one.
But it definitely doesn't feel like a
Thank you.
suicide.
That's,
And the
that's
fact that there
quite the
were
compliment.
potentially shell
But-
casings near there.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Kathryn. She's very good at this.
At what? Profiling or what?
The killing
Now you-
thing.
Now you know my nightmare all
Oh,
day
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
long.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Kathryn has a very strange hobby, or thing that she likes, or whatever. Her interest is serial killers.
No, I also look into some spree killers.
There you go.
You know, and then the
Basically,
cannibals.
killers. There you go. Anything that has to do with that. So she has an interest in these things. It's scary.
But I think I know people.
No. A scary interest in these things. Let me be clear.
Yeah,
Let me-
because she
let
walks
me be
around the
clear.
house. Yeah, she
With a knife.
walks around the house with headphones on, and you have to raise your hand if you want to talk to her because she's in some kind of murder mystery shit.
There's no mystery.
Well, what am I-
The husband did it always.
I'll give you one time. When Kathryn was 16 years old, the devil possessed her. Hasn't left yet, but it visits every so often. Anyway.
You're not sounding very
Oh.
sane, but keep
All
going.
right.
I'm listening.
But well, the devil possessed her, and I'm in my room and I'm lying down on the bed and she's at the door, and as she's at the door, she's got this look on her face, or a scissor in her hand, a knife, I don't know. She said something to the effect of, comfortable sleeping tonight.
Yeah, that's her weapon of choice is a knife.
Oh my
She's
God.
made mention.
Yeah, she mentions that a lot.
It's not even
Ooh.
true.
Well, that's what you
The
mentioned.
real conspiracy is here, folks.
Yeah,
You heard it
you're
first here.
uncovering it. No, like if I was gonna do.
Oh, go on.
No, go on.
Tell us
Well,
how.
she has these Asian knives, and they're long. They almost look like samurai swords, but they're half the size, and they slip into each other, and they're hidden, and they're at storage. Well, we were at storage the other day, and she was wanting to bring them to the house, and I said, "What do you want those for?" And she said, "No, I gotta have those." I grabbed them out of her hand and put them back in. No, they're not coming back to the house. I always have to keep an eye on how many knives are in the rack
Oh, good.
constantly.
That's not even real, but it's hilarious.
You have a
But
bad
the
day.
samurai sword thing is though.
No. I would have to side with Matt on the caution of this.
No, but he.
Oh yeah.
But he definitely refuses to. Every single time we go to storage, I try to take them, and every single time he will not let me.
Okay. It's a plausible question. So why do you want them?
Because if someone comes in this house, I want to
No.
have it.
No,
Oh,
that's negative.
who's coming in that house? Kathryn, really? For them to get from the door to the bedroom, they'd have to climb over what?
They wouldn't even know people live here because it's too far to get to the back to
Thank you.
go down the damn goat path to get to where we're at.
No,
Thank you.
like in the middle.
I mean, in all fairness, I do keep a baseball bat
See,
for that reason only. It's actually not even mine. It's my younger brother's, but we've kept it for no reason other than to have around the house just in case.
so he
I
gets
understand
me.
that. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Baseball bats.
Right. Well, it comes
you
in
really-
a bat,
no,
and then
wait,
it's
wait.
knives. You don't understand.
Okay.
It's a rod
But
this is
and
the
knives.
zombies. The baseball
Okay.
bat is going to work real well for zombies, and everybody knows zombies are going to overtake the world.
Thank you, Zoe.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yes.
So here's
Oh,
my whatever.
I was agreeing
If I-
with you wholeheartedly. Zombies are a real concern I have.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, hey, you know what? I read all of these like post-apocalyptic books. I still read those, the dystopian ones. I love those. Those are so good. When the hurricane struck Florida, I went out and I kept trying to find like those little campfire cooker things, right? The ones that don't need gas or power to work. Everyone had, of course, already purchased all of them. So what I did is I put my apocalyptic skills to use. And I bought one of those turkey baked turkey tins that you would bake the turkey in for Thanksgiving, because no one was touching those. So I bought one of those. I bought a couple bags of coal. And then I figured, we take the rack from the oven, we put some coal in the thing, we put the rack over the coal, and then boom, you have a little cook fire. You can even put it in the oven if you want to be safe inside your house.
To cook zombies?
No.
I'm confused.
No, to cook your food.
Oh,
Trying
okay.
to be prepared for the zombie attack.
No, I was preparing for the hurricane. Forget the zombies. The hurricane was the more immediate threat. But yes, it would also work for zombies.
All right. Well,
But,
don't act like zombies not
yeah.
a real thing. If you've ever seen someone on bath salts, like, that's a zombie.
Yeah, I've not seen that. Probably for good reason.
You don't.
Well, I
I have a
was-
very overactive imagination. I do not need something to happen in real life for me to be able to picture it in my brain. That's my issue.
That's fair. I used to read a lot about the apocalypse until we hit it, and I was like, oh, it's not cute anymore. We're in it. No, it's just real.
Well, and also like come on, we still got power, we still got transportation,
Toilet
we're
paper.
still walking around, and we still own
We
this
have
world.
internet and
Toilet paper
Wi-Fi.
has returned. We're good. Yeah, we have communication. We haven't lost contact with the different continents. That's awesome. So yeah, no, this is not an apocalypse.
All right, you're right.
I have to tell you something. I COVID, I think in the end was,
No,
taking
careful.
define it. Just a minute. I find a lot of positive things have come out of it, and it was a positive period if you take the death toll out of the picture. Okay? I'm
Yeah.
not talking about people that, okay, just take that out for a minute, but I'm talking about the pause that the earth did, the pause, that kind of thing. So that was interesting. It was interesting finding out, because people found out more things about themselves even. There was a lot of introspection that happened, and a lot of, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you need, what you don't need. There's a whole lot of reassessing that happened with COVID that
Perspective.
I think
The world got
absolutely.
served perspective.
Yeah, that absolutely. And I think there was a lot of positive that came out of it. Again, taking the human life,
The real stuff
taking
out.
the fact that an epidemic was in motion and people
Right.
were dying.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm only talking about the effect on the you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
I think
The
one
effect
of
on the
the
You're
globe.
not saying we should
One
go
of the-
through this all over again, but there were certainly positives that we can take from the experience.
Actually,
yeah. No, I agree. I think that there's
I'm
a lot of
okay.
different perspectives.
Yeah, I'm even okay
Like
with going
positive
through it
ones, yeah.
again. I'm even okay with going through it again as long as people don't die.
So just the quarantine part,
Yes.
the lockdown.
Yes.
The everybody
lockdown
chill.
part. Everybody chill. Everybody has to take a break. Nobody can go anywhere. I'm not talking about anybody being sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So taking this.
Yeah, when people were in lockdown, one of the positives was that there was less pollution from cars. So,
Absolutely. Less
yeah.
pollution. People found they needed less things. It was easier to cook. There was a lot of things that came out of it that I think were very, very positive. And I almost wish, parts of that, I really enjoyed. I've mentioned in the past the thing with the noise outside. I had never heard the noise. When my mother was here, she said, "Oh my God, how do you sleep with this?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "All that noise. I never heard it. And now I can't unhear it because I didn't hear it during COVID. It was lovely." So the quarantine, I think every so often, maybe the earth needs to do that.
Yeah, the earth healed,
That's
animals
all.
returned, and nobody was doing buffet. It was better for civilization.
It definitely had its, taking the human toll out of it, taking the fact that it was an epidemic out of it,
Yeah.
or a pandemic. That's all.
And
But
Well, I mean, there was also the added benefit of because of quarantine, there was also less like flu and all that too. So it wasn't
All of it.
just COVID that was
That was
prevented from
that was
spreading.
the
It was a lot
mask.
of
yeah.
That was the mask. The flu was the
Colds,
mask.
allergies.
Apparently.
Oh, hey, when I was working at that music school, because I was around kids like not 24/7, but I was around
Right.
kids most of the time. I
Oh,
wore a
God.
mask all day at work because I was working with kids. It's safer for them because who knows if they are able to get if they're old enough for the vaccine and if they haven't gotten it
Yeah.
because maybe their families can't do it or something, you never know. But I'm fully vaccinated. I've had all the extra things, but I still wore a mask and I never took it off when I was in the presence of a child or one of my students because it was just safer for both of us. Now, granted, for some singing lessons, I had to there are certain face shapes that you can't just explain. You have to show how your face works when you sing. But aside from that, it's like I have worked with kids before. I've worked with kids during flu season before. And I remember that all my coworkers, including myself, were getting colds like every other week just because of all the kids that we were working with. And working with a mask, I never got sick, not once.
Huh?
Not from the kids, at least. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool.
I remember, working the airport in Athens, and people would come in when the
Mm.
flights would come in, and they'd be like Asians on board. They'd come on, and they'd always have masks. And you used to laugh at it. I don't laugh at it anymore. Let me tell you.
I
'Cause
think
now,
I think also another
Nice.
positive is the plastic walls that they put up at fast food places just for
Yeah.
less germs. I mean, I think they should keep that after the pandemic.
yeah,
I-
there's a lot of that stuff that I think is very positive.
Also wish they
Yeah.
would outlaw buffet and potluck.
I mean,
Yeah, that
COVID,
buffet
COVID
thing.
is not over. I mean, I think I just heard today that every day, 300 people a day are dying from COVID.
Yeah, but that could be.
Uh,
But Matt, listen, every day 300 people are dying from
Oh.
starvation too. So it's no longer something
Yeah.
that has to be.
But it's COVID, RSV, and the flu right now spiking again.
Okay, but it's that time of year. Anyway,
Yeah,
this is
right.
this is normal bullshit for this time of year, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay. This year I ended up with I got COVID. When I say I got COVID, I tested positive.
No symptoms.
That's all no symptoms. So I tested positive enough that I got COVID. so I know I had it, but zero symptoms, which had me really concerned. It had me concerned in the sense of I'm somebody who is, let's say, I think diligent about this. To some point, and I had no symptoms. So I can see how people can go out there without ever having tested because they have no reason in the world to test and spreading it. No reason in the world to
Yeah,
test.
my grandmother was
only
the same
reason-
way. My grandmother was the same way. My uncles in Switzerland, I think one of my uncles got it pretty bad. He was down for the count. He had issues, and I think he still had problems with his lungs for a long time afterwards. My grandmother, she in Switzerland also, she apparently had COVID, but she had zero symptoms. She felt like she was every single day, and she's, one of the crowd that's supposed to be high risk, and yet she had zero symptoms. It barely hit her. She just basically quarantined and just kind of ambled around the house and was totally fine.
Was
So-
she vaccinated at this point? Or no vaccination?
I don't
Had to be.
recall. I don't recall.
Had to be. I'm gonna go with had to be.
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Or-
Unless
or-
she's just like super.
But it's possible.
Yeah,
but some
but
people,
if she,
but some people had zero symptoms and never affected them. Period, and they never even had the vaccine
Mhm.
yet.
Yeah.
So that was the vaccine hadn't even been out. But my nephew Andrew, he had it, and he was asymptomatic when there was no vaccine.
Yeah, he said it wasn't that bad. I remember that. Him saying like
Yeah, so there are people who were asymptomatic, but I literally was asymptomatic. I mean, the only thing that was different, and this I keep saying this, and I think it is so strange. The only thing that was different is I needed to drink massive amounts of water. But I mean so massive that it was unusual. And I'm like, okay, this is not right. I'm talking about I'm drinking, liters and liters and liters of water, and it was constant. And my craving was for sugar, sugar and pasta, sugar, and then turned to sugar in my body. So I was turning into a diabetic.
Weird. And
yeah, COVID is making me pre-diabetic.
But that's the thing, though. It's like, it sounds like you're someone who's very in tune with their body, listens to their needs, and tries to take relatively good care of the messages they receive. That's not something that everybody knows how to do. If you're not listening or watching the signs, you might not even notice. So.
Oh no, I definitely do that. Because
she's
it was
the
freaky.
princess in the pea.
It was really free. It's like, I am the princess in the pea. But I'm very, very aware of what I intake. I'll tell you. Oh, I'll give you a princess in the pea. I used to take statins for cholesterol. Okay. Used to take statins for cholesterol. So I don't like putting pills into me. Yeah. I've done many substances, but I don't like, certain medications entering me, and I'm very careful as to what gets entered. So I was taking statins, and I didn't want to take them. So they were fine. And my mother was sending them from the States because I had the medical thing over there. Anyway, so I was getting them. All of a sudden, they're different, the pills. And these are the new pills. I'm taking them. I don't like them anymore. So I stopped taking the pills. Turns out there was a recall on those pills because I felt a little funniness in my stomach. Turns out there was a recall in the pills. And after the recall in the pills, I went back to the States, and the doctor said, oh, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. It was a little something. A couple of people had some stomach issues because they found glass in the pills.
Ooh, no big deal.
So anyway,
doctor.
No big. No. But what he was saying was it was such minute amounts that it didn't matter. But it was minute enough, but it bothered the hell out of me.
Let's
a
feed
piece
him
of
some
sand
glass
under
and
my
see if
foot.
it's a big
I
deal.
can't walk. Well, he's kind of dead now, but anyway.
See, I was right when I said you shouldn't take this man's advice. He's obviously a lunatic. Rest his soul.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But anyway, but what he was trying to tell me is that the recall was there, but it wasn't. Nobody died from it. Nobody, but whatever. It was a little bit of stomach, whatever, and it was fine. Anyway, it was a good idea that I stopped taking the damn statins because I had also changed some other medication, and my cholesterol had gone down so much that he was like, miracle has occurred. So, but it wasn't because I don't eat any foods with cholesterol. So I don't eat foods with cholesterol.
That's crazy.
Anyway, miracle.
Definitely.
Yes. But the thing was the glass, but I actually tasted it. Not I tasted it, but my stomach was so, it felt it.
How is this person acting like it's not a big deal that there's glass in pills? Like what?
Well, okay. Maybe I'm making the not a big deal a little bit too whatever, but it wasn't that big. It was a recall, yes. It wasn't a big deal. People didn't die. They continued with it. You don't even know about it. All right. It was for a short period. It was like a thing or something, but I must have had some of those because I felt it and I stopped taking it. And then I found out about the recall because I was like, well, what the hell is this? And then I found out about the recall. But I stopped immediately. It was like immediate.
This is a reminder
a couple
to
of pills
have,
in. I'm like, oh, hell no, I ain't taking this again.
This is a reminder for all of you out there to
listen to your
seek out
gut.
Listen to your gut and seek out female doctors. Yeah.
Yeah, in this case, actually listen to your gut. Don't use your ears. Don't put your pills in your ears. Put them in your gut and see what your gut tells you.
Your doctor shouldn't be laid back and casual.
That's right.
Mm-mm.
And now,
But also not easily frightened.
On this day in history, nothing was solved.
Matt, what do you have for us today?
Well, on this day in 1927, Duke Ellington and his Cotton Club Orchestra became the house band for Harlem's Cotton Club. Their run lasted until June 30th, 1931. So on this day in 1927, everyone heard that Duke Ellington was playing at the Cotton Club in Harlem, and they stopped what they were doing so nothing got solved.
Yay.
Thanks, Matt.
That's pretty cool. Duke Ellington is very special. Was,
Definitely.
but is.
These are
Everything
the
about
people that
is.
had, yeah,
Is what?
they made nothing that, now we take these things for granted, but these are people who were ahead in their times, had put out things that didn't happen before, and all of that.
Like inventing an entire genre.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I remember, I'll never forget, I was a kid, but I never forgot the first time I heard the Beatles. And I knew I was hearing and seeing something different.
Yeah, now
No
they're
music
studied.
had been like that before.
Yeah.
No music
And now
had been
we
like
study
that
the
before.
Beatles now. The Beatles was
Well,
studied extensively while I was at Full Sail. We studied them so much.
Well,
Because
I
they did
have
some
to tell
very,
you-
very special things.
Well, I have to tell you that they absolutely changed a generation. I mean, I remember I'm part of that generation, and I was there when it happened. And it was as soon as you saw and heard them for the first time, you're like, oh my God, what's that? And I can't tell you the impact that
I
had.
kind of,
Well, and they still have.
Yeah. Well, I think they're
Sorry.
kind of interesting because they started they kind of were a reflection of the times. Like they were a band before Woodstock, and when they were early on, they were like a glass of milk. They were all wearing suits, and it was like mid '60s, conservative. And they kept going and they kept going, and then like Woodstock happened, and like
It didn't quite happen like that.
yeah, no, but I mean, like
Yes.
it affected them, and they went from being like glass of milk to tap of acid, and they changed, and it's just they changed with the times, which was kind of cool.
It's
They
true they did
changed
start as like a
the
bubblegum pop
times.
band.
What are you all talking about? They changed the times. They're the ones that changed the times.
Well, no,
Oh, yes, actually,
Really?
okay.
Really?
Fun
Woodstock
fact
Really?
about
Woodstock
They
was a
went
fact
to
about one of the
India.
recordings.
They
One
went
of the
to
recordings
India.
is so
They
cool,
discovered-
guys. They wanted
went
to
to
they
India.
wanted to hang who was it? It was John Lennon. They wanted to hang John Lennon from the ceiling and then spin him around the room around this microphone to create that spinning effect. They actually wanted to spin him around the room. And then obviously there were some safety concerns and they did not end up doing that. Instead, they used something called, I believe it's called a whirly cabinet or something like that. And obviously much safer because the microphone itself spins instead of the person. But this poor studio assistant was at one point contemplating the idea of actually being told by his boss to spin John Lennon around the room on a rope. So, fun fact, they had some real crazy ideas that did not actually happen, but they had those ideas nonetheless. And that's one of them that I learned about at Full Sail, and it's the one that stuck for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they had
I
some.
just
They
know
had
there
some.
was something different. We were watching before that. You had great music. Great music. I mean, we had wonderful music. We really did. There was nothing. Music was great, but it was, the 50s and it was great music. Pop. It was great music. But when the Beatles came, it was different music.
Hmm.
They changed the tone and the hair. The hair was different.
Yeah.
And it really made the whole look, the whole everything. But they changed everything. And when we went into all of the acid or all of that stuff, I mean, hell, if they hadn't gone to India and met that Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, I don't know what we would have known, because that's how that transcendental meditation and and all
They
of
wouldn't
that
have used a
stuff came out,
sitar.
for example. So all of that, they brought that enlightenment to.
Well, I disagree, because I mean, like,
Really?
okay,
Where were
What's-
you in
okay.
1965? or
no,
70?
okay, hear me out.
No,
Woodstock.
really, answer that question.
Sperm.
Okay, Woodstock was
No,
a reaction
answer the
to-
question. Answer the question.
He was an egg.
Okay,
You are not
Wood-
even a thought in your parents' mind.
okay. Woodstock was a reaction to Vietnam. Okay, that wasn't a musical thing. Woodstock was a reaction to Vietnam, and Woodstock Woodstock was it was about peace, and it was about coming together and all that, and that affected music. So I don't think that the Beatles were the source of like all the taking drugs and stuff. I think that the being against the Vietnam War kind of crossed with pop culture, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay, what you're saying is right in a way, but it's skewed in another way.
Okay.
The Beatles changed the music. Peace and love and whatever came out after. All of that, they're the ones with the flowers and the peace and so they came out with that. And it was their, hold on a minute, because I keep losing these damn things.
I was wondering what those were.
Wait a minute. They're these beats. They're actually quite good. But if I lose you, it's because I touched something. Anyway, so the Beatles changed the music. And after the Beatles changed the music, there was a lot that came with it. And that whole, make peace, not war, all of that, again, John Lennon had a lot to do with that. No, really.
Imagine.
I think there was
Imagine is a lot later. Imagine is a lot later.
There were
Imagine's
two,
a lot later. And then they went in the 70s. They went to the whole whatchamacallit, where they did the whole thing with India and with the Guru and all of that stuff. But then yes, Woodstock was against Vietnam, but all of that other stuff had already evolved. The clothing, the way of thinking, the music, that had already happened. And then Woodstock. The Beatles they came out in 63, 64. Woodstock was in 69, 60, so it was already later.
Oh no, but in 1963, they were like wearing suits and drinking milk. I mean,
they were wearing suits for sure. Drinking milk, this I don't know.
And find out next week the influence of the Beatles on the world, or the world on the Beatles. This has been the Kathryn Dunn Show. You've all been amazing. Zoe, you should let everybody know where we can find you. And I want to say happy birthday to Frank Zappa.
Well, happy birthday, Frank Zappa. That's really cool. You can find my music on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Music or iTunes, whichever you prefer. I call it iTunes. Sorry, Apple. iTunes or Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, and plenty of more streaming sites. You can also follow me on social media if you want to see what I'm up to. For my personal music, Zoe Mina, you can find me under musician.4.life. For my freelance, for my freelance company, where I make different sounds and more for different things and reasons and sound scientisty stuff. It's soundscience.ist for most places. Twitter, I'm pretty sure it's an underscore. And same for musician.4.life. Twitter is special. It means underscores, not periods. But yeah. So happy birthday, Frank Zappa.
Yeah, happy birthday, Frank. And if you like all the in-between musics, that is the work of the Zoe Mina. So, there you have it. And is there anything you're up to, Matt, that you want to let people know about?
I have a podcast on Spotify. It's called Matt C's Podcast. And it's like deep cuts. It's like, maybe you've heard of the artist, but you may not have heard of the songs. So it's new music. So if you feel like listening to something different, it's called Matt C's Podcast. It's on Spotify.
Nice. What's a deep cut from Nirvana?
Mr. Mustache. Mr. Mustache.
That's a good one. All right. Thank you, everybody. Love you, and see you next week. Mwah. Bye.